She had nothing but a broken promise and a heart full of hope. Yet today, she would cross the world in a single step. From starving on the cold streets to rubbing shoulders with millionaires she once begged on the sidewalk. And through it all, she would never forget the boy who taught her the meaning of loyalty. This is the story of Lily Williams, a homeless girl who became a millionaire overnight, not by magic or luck, but by the promise etched in her soul. Before we start the story, leave a comment to let us know which city you're watching from. Like and subscribe to support our community. Your support means a lot to us. Now, enjoy the story as we continue. Lily Williams pressed the edge of her coat tighter against her freezing skin. Her fingers, raw and red, trembled as she checked the tattered photograph again. It had been 3 years since she'd seen Marley's bright smile, 3 years since her life had fallen apart. The city's lights danced around her, mocking her with their warmth. 3 winters ago, Lily and Marley had promised each other one thing: never to let go. They were just kids then, laughing under the same bridge, imagining a future where nothing could hurt them. Marley had been the golden thread in her life, pulling her forward when she felt lost. But when his family moved away, Lily had watched the only person who cared vanish into the night. Since then, she'd lived on the streets. Each day blurred into the next, scavenging for food, hiding from the police, and fighting the urge to give up. She slept under cardboard, her dreams haunted by Marley's voice calling her name. Still, in the darkest moments, she whispered their old promise to herself, clutching the promise like a lifeline. A distant sound snapped her out of her thoughts. The rumble of an approaching car echoed through the bridge. Lily's heart pounded. She had one shot. She pressed herself against the cold concrete, her mind racing with all the stories she'd heard about rags to riches miracles. None of them had a real chance, but maybe, just maybe, tonight would be different. As the headlights swept across the ground, she lifted her face and caught the gaze of a stranger. His eyes softened when they met hers. Without a word, he stepped forward, his outstretched hand offering warmth and a ticket she never imagined she'd hold. Lily hesitated, her mind screaming at her to run. But something in the man's eyes told her he meant no harm. She slipped her hand into his, and he helped her to her feet. She expected questions, suspicion, maybe pity. Instead, he simply smiled and said, "Come with me." He led her to a sleek black car, opened the door, and helped her inside. The warmth of the leather seat felt like a dream. Before Lily could protest, the car sped away, leaving behind the cold world and her old life. Inside, the man introduced himself as Mr. Caldwell, a venture capitalist with a reputation for spotting hidden talent. Lily's heart lurched. Venture capitalist? Hidden talent? She had none of those. She was just a homeless girl who knew how to survive. Mr. Caldwell explained that he'd watched her from a distance for weeks. He'd seen her kindness, how she shared her meager scraps with other street kids, how she kept their hopes alive. He believed that compassion was the rarest commodity in business, and he wanted to invest in her future. Lily's mind spun. Money, real life-changing money, was at stake. But she remembered the promise she made under the bridge, to never forget Marley, to help those who helped her. She told Mr. Caldwell she'd accept his help, but only if she could pay it forward. He nodded, impressed by her spirit. "You'll have $10 million in your bank by morning," he said, clicking a button on his phone. Instantly, Lily felt the world shift beneath her feet. As the city lights blurred past her, she closed her eyes and whispered Marley's name. She would make him proud. Lily's eyes fluttered open to the soft glow of dawn seeping through the tinted windows of Mr. Caldwell's penthouse suite. She lay still for a moment, heart hammering as if it threatened to burst from her chest. Yesterday's events felt unreal, like a vivid dream she might wake from at any moment. But the gentle buzz from her phone on the nightstand confirmed it was very real. $10 million deposited. She sat up, the plush sheets rustling beneath her. Memories flooded back. The sharp contrast between her life under the bridge and this lavish sanctuary high above the city. She ran a trembling hand through her hair, marveling at its silky smoothness. A far cry from the tangled mess she had when she'd collapsed in the cold. Lily slipped from the bed and approached the balcony. The city sprawled before her in a tapestry of lights and possibilities. She could almost hear Marley's laugh echoing in her mind as she breathed in the crisp morning air. He would have loved this view, always the dreamer, always reaching for the stars. Her phone buzzed again. A calendar invite. Investor meeting, 10 a.m. with Mr. Caldwell. Lily tapped it open, her stomach twisting into knots. In just a few hours, she would stand face to face with the world's most influential financiers. She swallowed hard, steeling herself. Moments later, a soft knock sounded at the door. A woman in a sleek black uniform entered with a friendly smile. "Good morning, Miss Williams. I'm Serena, your stylist. We'll ensure you're ready for today's engagement." Lily blinked in surprise. "Stylist?" Serena offered a reassuring nod. "Yes. Please follow me. We'll select an outfit that reflects your vision and professionalism." In the adjoining dressing room, Serena laid out a tailored navy suit, jacket crisp, trousers perfectly pressed. Lily hesitated before stepping into it. The fabric brushed against her skin like a promise of transformation. Serena helped adjust the shoulders, zipped the jacket. "Beautiful," Serena said. "A simple, elegant look. You're going to shine." Lily admired her reflection, a poised, confident woman with bright eyes and a determined smile. The girl beneath the bridge felt a world away. She allowed herself a quiet moment of pride before nodding firmly. An hour later, Lily found herself in the lobby of Caldwell and Partners, a gleaming skyscraper of glass and steel. The receptionist guided her to the elevator, and she ascended to the 52nd floor, palms sweaty but resolute. The conference room doors slid open to reveal a long table surrounded by sharply dressed executives. They paused mid-sentence at her entrance. Lily's breath caught as dozens of curious eyes turned her way. She gripped the strap of her leather portfolio and stepped forward. Mr. Caldwell rose and greeted her with a warm smile. "Lily, everyone, this is the woman who inspired our next initiative." She returned his smile, heart pounding. "Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity." Finding her seat at the head of the table, Lily opened her portfolio. She began with her story, briefly, with honesty, accentuating her journey of hardship and hope. She then unveiled her plan, a foundation aimed at providing shelter, education, and startups grants to street youth. She spoke with passion, her voice steady. Her words resonated. The room grew silent as she described the impact of compassion paired with smart investment. When she finished, Mr. Caldwell leaned forward. "This is extraordinary, Lily. Your vision is both heartfelt and business savvy. Let's make it happen." The executives exchanged nods, enthusiastic. Contracts were prepared, signatures flowed. By midday, Lily was appointed CEO of Project Promise, the new arm of Caldwell and Partners dedicated to her cause. As she stepped out of the building, papers in hand and a lofty title on her business card, Lily paused at the curb. The sun sparkled off the skyscrapers, illuminating the path ahead. She closed her eyes and whispered, "This is for you, Marley." With one last glance at the city that had lifted her, Lily walked forward into her new life, driven by gratitude, faith, and a promise that would guide her every step. The first board meeting of Project Promise felt like stepping into a storm. Lily entered the sleek conference room, heart pounding with equal parts excitement and dread. The table was surrounded by seasoned executives, their crisp suits and polished shoes reflecting the power they wielded. She took a deep breath and reminded herself, she belonged here. After all, this was her vision. As the presentations began, Mr. Caldwell outlined financial projections and operational plans. Charts and graphs flickered on the screen, numbers swirling in Lily's mind. She felt a knot tightening in her stomach. This was the language of the boardroom, one she was still learning. When it was her turn, she stood, smoothing the lapels of her jacket. "Project Promise will launch with 3 pilot shelters," she began, voice steady. "Each will offer not only a roof, but also educational workshops and startup grants." She clicked the remote. A slide showed smiling faces of children, imaginary, but drawn from her own memories under the bridge. These programs will be funded through sustainable investments and partnerships with local businesses. A murmur rippled through the room. One senior executive, Ms. Reynolds, raised an eyebrow. "Miss Williams, sustainability is admirable, but how do you ensure returns? Philanthropy alone won't satisfy our shareholders." Her tone was polite but firm, as if testing Lily's resolve. Lily nodded, expecting the challenge. She took a breath, then spoke from the heart. "I understand your concern, but when we invest in human potential, the returns can be exponential. Consider entrepreneurs who rise from adversity. They bring innovation and tenacity. Our program will include mentorship from seasoned business leaders, ensuring guidance and accountability." She pointed to a projected 5-year growth curve. This model balances social impact with financial viability. Silence followed. Lily's pulse thundered in her ears. Then slowly, nods circled the table. Mr. Caldwell leaned back, a proud smile on his face. Well put, Lily. Your passion is your greatest asset. After the meeting, Lily retreated to a quiet lounge. She sank into a leather chair, relief washing over her. Yet doubt still lingered. Could she truly balance compassion and profit? She closed her eyes and imagined Marley's encouraging grin. She would prove that a promise made under a cold bridge could shine in high-rise towers. Later that afternoon, Lily walked the city streets incognito, wearing simple clothes and a knitted scarf that reminded her of better days. She passed by the very bridge where her life had changed, now framed by midday sun instead of icy wind. She paused, remembering the promise. Then she took out her phone and typed a message. Project Promise is real. Soon you'll see. Her heart soared. As dusk settled, she returned to her penthouse, determination blazing brighter than any city light. This was just the beginning. The first trial by fire in a journey defined by loyalty, courage, and an unbreakable vow. Lily awoke to the soft hum of the city below, her mind already racing. The glow of her phone's screen revealed an urgent email. One of the pilot shelter locations had fallen through. The local business partner pulled out at the last minute, citing budget cuts. Lily's heart sank. She had promised change, but already the fragile foundation wavered. She climbed out of bed and walked to the balcony, gripping the railing as the wind whipped around her. Beneath her, the bridge where she and Marley once laughed stood silent and cold. Memories surged, Marley's steady encouragement, their shared dreams. Lily drew in a shaky breath. The promise remained, but the path was no longer clear. Downstairs, Serena waited with coffee and a report. Lily accepted the cup, and they sat at the suite's marble counter. Serena spoke softly. They need a new partner by Monday. If not, the project stalls. Lily stared at her reflection in the window. She could see the fire in her eyes, fierce and determined. She nodded. Then we find another partner. Tonight. She grabbed her coat and headed out into the twilight. The city lights blurred as she raced through traffic to a familiar address. An old cafe where she once begged for spare change. The owner, Mrs. Delgado, had shown her kindness long ago, offering free tea when temperatures dipped below freezing. Lily pushed open the cafe door, the bell's chime echoing in her chest. Mrs. Delgado looked up from the register, her eyes widening. Lily, is that you? Lily forced a smile. Mrs. Delgado, I need your help. They spoke in hushed tones at a corner table. Lily explained Project Promise and the fallen partner. Mrs. Delgado listened, her gentle face growing serious. When Lily finished, she sighed. I've always cared about the neighborhood kids. If you'll have me, I'll join. Relief flooded Lily's chest. She grasped Mrs. Delgado's hands. Thank you. You have no idea what this means. Back at the penthouse, Lily drafted revised partnership terms. Mrs. Delgado's cafe would host workshops and serve as a safe space for teens. Serena reviewed the documents, nodding in approval. The next morning, Lily presented the updated plan to the board. Ms. Reynolds raised an eyebrow at the new partner. Lily explained Mrs. Delgado's standing in the community and her proven dedication. The room fell silent. Then one by one, heads nodded. The board approved. That evening, Lily found herself alone on the bridge. The wind felt gentler, as if acknowledging her victory. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, imagining Marley standing beside her. She let the night wind carry her whisper. We did it. Yet as she headed home, a pang of longing twisted her heart. Every triumph reminded her of the empty place Marley left behind. She shook her head, steeling herself. This journey wasn't about consolation. It was about keeping her promise. And she would not stop until she found him, even if the shadows of her past grew longer with every step. Lily awoke to a sharp buzzing, her phone vibrating insistently on the nightstand. Blinking away sleep, she reached across the plush duvet and answered. On the other end, Mr. Caldwell's voice carried a note of tension. Lily, are you at your desk? By sunrise, she was back at Caldwell and Partners, seated in a glass-walled office overlooking the city. Mr. Caldwell paced before her, phone pressed to his ear. He hung up and turned to face her, his expression grim. Our largest donor, Harrison & Company, is pulling their funding. They've accused us of mismanagement. Lily's chest tightened. Harrison & Company had pledged $3 million to Project Promise, enough to open the remaining pilot shelters. Without it, the entire initiative teetered. She felt a wave of panic, then hatred flicker in her chest. Who would sabotage her project? She rose, steadying herself against the conference table. What evidence do they have? Mr. Caldwell shook his head. None that's legitimate. But their letter cites discrepancies in how funds were allocated. They claim workshops and grants aren't producing measurable results yet, so they're cutting ties. Lily clenched her fists. She remembered Marley's words. Trust the heart, but verify every detail. She demanded a review of every invoice and report. Together, they pored over spreadsheets, invoices, and receipts late into the night. Lily recognized every expense. Textbooks for a coding class, hot meals for teens, startup kits for aspiring bakers. Everything was accounted for. But one line item caught her eye. A payment of $10,000 to a consulting firm she'd never heard of. Lily's brow furrowed. Serena, do you know anything about this? Serena flipped through her digital notes, her face paling. I approved it on your behalf. They claimed it was for a marketing audit. I didn't realize it was outside our usual partners. Betrayal stung her like a slap. Serena had been her closest ally. Lily took a steadying breath. Tracked down the firm. I want names, dates, every detail. By morning, they discovered the consulting firm was a shell company, created days before the transaction. The phone numbers led to a burner phone. Whoever set it up had insider access. Lily's mind raced. A mole within her team, someone close to her, had orchestrated this. She called a meeting, summoning her core staff. Serena, the financial analyst, and the operations manager. Each sat wide-eyed as Lily laid out the evidence. One of us leaked our financial plans and diverted funds. I need full transparency. Now. Silence stretched. The financial analyst, Marcus, swallowed. Lily, I admit I spoke to someone at Harrison and Company. They called me directly, worried about our pace. I forwarded our reports. I didn't realize it would lead to this. Lily's heart sank. Marcus was competent, eager to help. But his breach of trust threatened everything she'd built. She rose. Marcus, you broke our promise to the kids and to me. He looked ashamed. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting the project by offering transparency. Her voice was soft but firm. Transparency must start here. You'll contact Harrison and Company, correct the record, and work with our legal team to reverse their decision. And we'll strengthen our internal protocols. Over the next week, Lily led the charge to restore credibility. She flew to meet Harrison's board, presenting audited reports in person. She met stormy glares and probing questions, but stood unwavering. At home, the city lights felt dimmer, colored by the sting of betrayal. Yet with each meeting, she reclaimed control. One evening, exhausted, she returned to the bridge. The wind had died down, leaving only silence. She closed her eyes and envisioned Marley's encouraging nod. She whispered, even in betrayal, I'll hold firm. The city stood around her, shiny towers and shadowed alleys. Yet Lily felt a new strength kindling. She realized that trust, once broken, could be reforged stronger. And with that, she walked back into the light, ready for whatever lay ahead. Dawn broke with a soft glow that filtered through Lily's curtains. After the whirlwind of meetings and damage control, she craved purpose beyond boardrooms. She slipped into a simple jacket and made her way to Mrs. Delgado's cafe, where Project Promise workshops were underway. Inside, the hum of conversation and laughter greeted her. Teens clustered around tables, sketching business ideas and coding prototypes. Lily paused at the back of the room, observing their focus. She smiled, remembering the girl who once scavenged for scraps, now watching young dreamers find their spark. Mrs. Delgado approached, carrying a tray of pastries. You're early, she said with a warm grin. They're eager today. Lily followed her to a side table where a shy boy, no more than 16, fiddled with a smartphone. This is Jamal, Mrs. Delgado introduced. He's been coming every day, but won't share his idea until he's sure it's good. Jamal looked up, eyes wide. Lily knelt beside him. You don't have to be perfect. Every idea starts small. She offered her hand. Show me. He hesitated, then scrolled through an app prototype. It connected volunteers with seniors for companionship calls. Lily's heart swelled. This is brilliant, Jamal. Who wouldn't want to brighten someone's day? Encouraged, Jamal explained his features. Lily asked gentle questions, and with each answer, his confidence grew. She realized that nurturing potential was her calling as much as leading a foundation. After the workshop, Lily stepped outside. The cafe's neon sign glowed against the morning sky. She dialed Mr. Caldwell. He answered on the second ring. Morning, she said, voice cheerful. We need to scale this program. Jamal's app could partner with our startup grants. Let's allocate funds for a tech incubator. Mr. Caldwell's tone was approving. Excellent idea. I'll get the finance team on it. Lily hung up, energized by collaboration. Yet beneath the hope simmered longing. She left the cafe and retraced her steps toward the bridge. She found the spot where she and Marley once carved their initials into the concrete. The carving had faded, but she traced it with her fingers, feeling its rough edge. A crumpled envelope lay nearby. Curious, she picked it up. Inside was an address scrawled in a familiar hand, Marley's handwriting. Her breath caught. The address led to a youth center 2 hours away. Tears blurred her vision, but her heart raced with joy. Marley was out there. Without hesitation, Lily returned to her car and set the GPS. As the engine roared to life, she pressed her palm to the steering wheel, speaking into the quiet cabin. I see you. The road stretched ahead, illuminated by early morning rays. Hope pulsed through her veins. For the first time in years, Marley wasn't just a memory. He was a destination. The early morning sun stretched across the highway as Lily gripped the steering wheel, determination steadying her nerves. The address from Marley's letter led her 2 hours into the outskirts of the city. Around her, the world of skyscrapers gave way to suburban streets and small shops, each mile taking her further from her old life and closer to the friend she'd feared lost forever. Her mind replayed every memory of Marley, his laughter echoing under the bridge, his endless curiosity, the way he believed in her when no one else would. She glanced at the passenger seat where the crumpled envelope rested. It was fragile proof that Marley still remembered their promise. Yet with every mile, fear mingled with hope. What if he didn't want to see her? What if life had taken him too far? As she exited the highway, she found herself in a quiet neighborhood of neat bungalows and manicured lawns. The youth center stood at the end of a tree-lined street, a brick building with painted murals celebrating art and community. Lily parked and stepped out, the air crisp against her cheeks. She smoothed her suit jacket and took a steadying breath. Inside, the center buzzed with activity. Children painted on easels, teenagers practiced speeches for a debate club, and volunteers organized supplies. Lily approached the front desk, where a middle-aged woman greeted her warmly. Good morning, Lily began, offering her business card. I'm Lily Williams. I received this address from a friend named Marley. I was told he might be here. The woman studied the card, then her expression softened. You must be Lily. Marley visited us briefly, yes. He volunteered as a tutor last month, but left suddenly. He mentioned he was looking for someone who changed his life. Lily's heart pounded. Do you know where he went? The woman hesitated, then handed Lily a small notebook. He left his contact here and asked me to give this to you if you ever came. Good luck finding him. With trembling hands, Lily opened the notebook. Inside, Marley had written updates about his life. He'd moved to this suburb with his aunt, was studying graphic design, and volunteered to give back. His last note read, If you're reading this, come to the Community Art Fair next Saturday. I'll be there by the fountain. Tears blurred Lily's vision. She pressed her fingertips to the page. Hope swelled like a tide. She thanked the woman and stepped back into the cool morning. In her mind, she heard Marley's voice. We made it. But before she could celebrate, her phone vibrated. It was Mr. Caldwell with an urgent message. A major corporate partner requested an immediate meeting in the city. Funding for Project Promise hung in the balance. Lily's dual worlds collided. Should she chase her personal hope or secure millions for youth like Jamal? She glanced back at the youth center, knowing that every moment counted for the children here and the ones she had back home. Lily set the notebook on the dashboard and tapped a reply. On my way. Promise me results. With resolve, she slid into the driver's seat and headed back to the city. The notebook lay open on the seat beside her, Marley's words glowing like a beacon. She whispered into the car's empty cabin. I'll be there, Marley. Wait for me. The skyline reemerged as she merged onto the highway. The road ahead was long and winding, but Lily's purpose had never been clearer. Balancing ambition with loyalty, she would secure the future for others and keep her promise to the one who believed in her first. Back in the city's heart, Lily hustled through the revolving doors of Caldwell and Partners, the crisp morning sun glinting off the polished marble floors. In her hand, she clutched Marley's notebook, its promise tugging at her heart, yet she steeled herself for the corporate crucible waiting inside. Inside the glass facade, she passed rows of assistants and advisors, pausing only to nod at familiar faces. The urgency of the meeting weighed heavy. securing a multi-million-dollar partnership to fund Project Promise's next phase. Lily's thoughts flickered between the boardroom and the community art fair where Marley awaited. Time was her adversary. She entered the conference suite, where the partner executives sat stiffly around a glossy table. Jensen & Rowe, a global technology firm, eyed her with thinly veiled skepticism. Their lead partner, Mr. Hawthorne, began without preamble. "Ms. Williams, your pitch earlier this year was inspiring. Yet we need concrete metrics before we commit. Show us the ROI of your social investments." Lily nodded, setting Marley's notebook aside. She connected her tablet to the presentation screen and launched the dashboard she and Marcus had refined. Graphs illuminated growth in shelter occupancy, workshop completion rates, and the budding revenue streams from youth-led startups. She spoke clearly. Since our launch 3 months ago, Project Promise has achieved the following. 1. 90% occupancy in pilot shelters. 2. 80% workshop completion among participants. 3. A projected 25% return on seed grants within the next 2 years. Mr. Hawthorne's lips curved into a thin smile. Promising numbers, indeed. However, your margins hinge on unpredictable factors. Volunteer hours, market reception of youth products, and ongoing sponsorships. How will you mitigate these risks? Lily inhaled deeply, recalling Marley's unflinching faith. By diversifying revenue streams and establishing contingency reserves. We'll license Jamal's companion app to eldercare networks, launch branded merchandise from our artisans, and implement a micro-investment platform inviting small investors to support individual youth entrepreneurs. These tactics spread risk and strengthen our financial foundations. The table fell silent. Then Ms. Patel, head of Jensen & Rowe's Social Impact Division, leaned forward. "Your plan is comprehensive. I'm particularly intrigued by the micro-investment platform. Could you prototype this within 6 months?" Lily's pulse quickened. "Yes, with an initial pilot of 500 investors, scaling to 1,000 by year-end." Mr. Hawthorne tapped his pen. "Very well. We'll commit $5 million, contingent on quarterly reviews." Relief flooded Lily's chest. She extended her hand, steadying her excitement. "Thank you. Your partnership will change countless lives." After signing the contracts, Lily exhaled and slipped outside. The midday sun felt forgiving, unlike the pressure cooker she'd just escaped. She retrieved Marley's notebook from her purse, her fingers tracing the faded ink. The meeting's victory tasted bittersweet without him there to share it. That afternoon, Lily dashed to the art fair, hoping she wasn't too late. The streets buzzed with vendors and families. Murals and sculptures lined the fairgrounds, children ran with balloons, and the distant chime of music filled the air. She scanned the central fountain, heart pounding. Then she saw him, Marley, older but unmistakable, adjusting his easel. He sketched a painting of 2 figures beneath a bridge, their hands joined. Lily's breath caught. The sight of him, alive and creating art from their shared memory, sent tears to her eyes. She approached, voice trembling. "Marley?" He looked up, surprise and joy mingling on his face. "Lily." They stood for a moment, the world blurring around them. Then Marley rose, and they embraced under the summer sky. Lily whispered, "I kept my promise." In his arms, the tumult of the past month's fortune, battles, betrayals, fell away. Only the promise remained, shining like a beacon guiding them home. Sunlight danced across Marley's easel as Lily returned to the community art fair the next morning, eager to sketch new plans. Yesterday's reunion had been a blur of joyful tears and shared memories, but today marked the start of their partnership, both personal and professional. Lily carried a folder of documents, project proposals, draft budgets, and notebooks filled with ideas. Marley looked up from his painting of the bridge. The mural in front of the fair depicted 2 children crossing it, hands clasped. He smiled. "It's perfect," he said softly. "That bridge brought us hope, Lily." Lily nodded, pride and nostalgia mingling in her chest. Now it can connect others to opportunity. They found a shaded bench near the fountain and spread out their work. Lily outlined Project Promise's expansion goals. 5 new shelters, a mobile mentorship van, and partnerships with local schools. Marley leaned in, tracing the paths with his finger. "I love the idea of the mentorship van," he said. "We could decorate it with art, make it inviting." Lily's eyes lit up. "Exactly. Your art could inspire kids who haven't even heard of coding or entrepreneurship." She pointed to her notes. "We have funding secured for the van. Now, we need branding, volunteer recruitment, and an outreach plan. Marley tapped his pen on the notebook. Let's start with an event, Art on Wheels. We tour neighborhoods, host pop-up workshops, and showcase art and tech demos. Lily grinned. Brilliant. And we'll recruit mentors from Caldwell and Partners and Jensen and Rowe, plus local creatives. They worked through the afternoon, sketching logos, drafting invitations, and assigning tasks. Lily felt a familiar thrill. This was more than business. It was a shared mission born from adversity. When they paused for coffee, Lily asked, "Do you ever regret leaving?" Marley stirred his cup thoughtfully. "I needed to find my path. You did too. But our promise brought us back. Now we build something bigger." Later, Lily took Marley to meet her core team at the penthouse. She introduced him as co-director of creative outreach, explaining his role in arts-based mentorship. Serena showed him the design studio, Marcus walked him through the micro-investment dashboard, and Mrs. Delgado welcomed him warmly. As evening fell, Lily and Marley stood on the penthouse balcony, the city lights shimmering below. Marley leaned against her, gazing out. "This world can be ruthless," he murmured. "But we'll change it, one promise at a time." Lily rested her head on his shoulder. Together, their first joint initiative, Art on Wheels, launched within weeks. A brightly painted van, Marley's art splashed across its sides, rolling into neighborhoods. Children gathered, marveling at the murals and laptops inside. Mentors guided them through painting and coding exercises. The laughter and excitement reminded Lily of her own dreams under the bridge. When the day ended, Lily boarded the van alongside Marley, watching the sun set over the city skyline. She closed her eyes, feeling the promise renewed with every mile. The bridge that once symbolized her struggles now represented their shared journey, lifting others across toward hope. The sun had barely risen when Lily and Marley arrived at the urban neighborhood where Art on Wheels was scheduled to debut. The streets were quiet, save for the distant hum of traffic. As they unloaded their brightly painted van, Lily glimpsed a group of local business owners gathered across the street, arms crossed and wary expressions on their faces. Her heart tightened. Growth often invited resistance. At the community center, they set up tables with laptops and art supplies. Marley hung new murals inside, each stroke representing hope and collaboration. Lily checked the schedule on her tablet. Everything was listed down to the minute: workshops, mentoring sessions, even snack breaks. But as curious children gathered, the business owners approached, led by a stern woman in a tailored coat. "You two flooding our neighborhood with your fancy programs," the woman said, voice edged with skepticism. "You're taking customers from our local shops and asking parents to spend money on things that may not last." Lily stepped forward, tone calm but firm. "Our goal is to partner with you, not replace you. We're here to mentor youth and help local businesses develop entrepreneurial skills." She gestured toward Marley's murals. "We'll feature your shops in our art tours and co-host events to drive traffic here." The woman's expression softened ever so slightly, but the other owners remained unconvinced. Marley approached, offering a small sketch of the woman's storefront, hand-drawn in vibrant colors. "See how your shop can inspire art community pride?" he said gently. Still, the group exchanged doubtful looks. Behind them, a van engine sputtered. The hydraulics on the Art on Wheels ramp had jammed, rendering the mobile workshop inaccessible. Marley tried to fix it, hands streaked with grease, but the mechanism was stubborn. Lily's stomach knotted. She rushed to the van and shouted above the noise. "Jamal's app network can get us a mechanic in 10 minutes. We'll keep going." She grabbed her phone, typing commands that activated the micro-investment platform. Within moments, a local mechanic confirmed he'd arrive shortly. Turning back to the owners, Lily addressed their concerns head-on. "Let's start small. 5 youth entrepreneurs will showcase products inside this center. You host them, we share profits." Proof before promise. The silence that followed felt endless. Finally, the woman in the coat nodded. "Fine. We'll try it for a week." The other owners murmured their assent. Relief washed over Lily. She turned toward Marley, who had just managed to jam the ramp back into place. He raised an eyebrow, dripping oil on his shirt. They shared a tired laugh. As the mechanic repaired the hydraulics, Lily and Marley led the first workshop, painting tote bags featuring local storefronts. Parents watched, intrigued as children blended colors to capture signs and awnings. A soft buzz of excitement replaced the initial tension. By afternoon, the partnership was in motion. Marley's murals decorated shop windows, and the mechanic's van displayed a thank you sign. Lily recorded the day's metrics: attendance, sales leads, social media engagement. The numbers weren't perfect, but they were progress. She squeezed Marley's hand. He smiled, exhaustion and pride shining in his eyes. "We faced our first storm together," he said. Lily nodded, watching children rush off to explore neighborhood shops. "And we're still driving forward." They packed up at sunset, hunger and fatigue heavy in their bones. Yet as the van rolled into the twilight, Lily felt a surge of hope. Expansion wasn't simple, but every trial taught them resilience. With Marley by her side, she knew they could weather any challenge and keep their promise to those who believed in them. Months passed like pages turning in a book as Lily and Marley poured their hearts into Project Promise. The Art on Wheels van traveled hundreds of miles, each stop a testament to communities awakening to possibility. Shelters opened in 3 new cities, each named Marley House, in honor of the friend who never forgot a promise. Lily oversaw the launches while Marley led mural projects, transforming gray walls into vibrant chronicles of hope. Yet the true test came when Lily received an invitation to speak at the Global Philanthropy Forum. Hundreds of delegates gathered in a grand hall, eager to hear the woman who rose from homelessness to lead a multi-million-dollar foundation. As she walked onto the stage, memories of cold nights under the bridge flooded her spirit. She steadied her breath and began. 3 years ago, I sat beneath a bridge with nothing but a tattered photograph and a promise to a friend. Today, I stand before you with millions in funding and thousands of lives transformed. This journey was not mine alone. It belongs to every volunteer, every partner, and especially to the one who taught me loyalty. She held up Marley's sketchbook. A hush fell over the audience as Marley's art, children crossing a bridge, illuminated the giant screen behind her. Behind the scenes, Marley watched from the wings, pride and tears shining in his eyes. Lily continued. Promises are simple words until we give them action. Project Promise harnesses compassion, creativity, and investment to uplift those society often overlooks. From coding workshops to microbusiness grants, we've created pathways out of poverty and despair. She shared statistics. Over 2,000 youths mentored, shelter occupancy at 95%, and a projected 50% return on seed grants. But she ended not with numbers, but with a story. A young girl named Amina who used her pottery skills to launch a thriving business, sending profits back to her family. As applause thundered, Lily scanned the crowd and locked eyes with Marley. His reassuring nod reminded her that every achievement sprang from their unbreakable bond. After the forum, a gala was held in their honor. Under crystal chandeliers, Lily and Marley danced, celebrating not wealth, but the wealth of human spirit. Advocates pledged new partnerships, entrepreneurs shared successes, and laughter echoed through the halls. When midnight struck, Lily slipped away to the rooftop terrace. She stood beneath the stars, the skyline a sea of twinkling lights. Marley found her moments later, handing her a cup of tea. They sat in silence until Lily spoke. We did it, Marley. Every promise, every struggle, it led us here. Marley wrapped an arm around her. And it's only the beginning. In the months that followed, Lily and Marley returned to the old bridge, the very spot where their journey began. They found the initials they had carved as children, now worn but still visible. Lily placed a plaque at its base, in honor of promises kept and futures built. Hey there, story lovers. If you want to add a little more magic, adventure, and heartwarming moments to your day, make sure you subscribe to the Daily Stories channel on YouTube. Join our community of dreamers and seekers of inspiration. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss our new story every single day.